Okay, so Joe Biden is now president of the United States of America. And I'm not going to be one of these people that says, oh, not my president, and cry about it for 4 years. Unlike a lot of these typical leftists, I live in the real world. I don't live in an alternate reality. So it is what it is. But yesterday, seeing some of the clips of the inauguration, it was kind of funny to me watching it. And, some more hypocrisy from the left, which is, typical. Not surprising at all. So we had the National Guard there, right? All over the place. They had fences up and everything. And I seem to recall a few months ago during the whole Black Lives Matter movement when they were burning down the country, not all of them, obviously, but a certain segment of them were burning down the country, burning down police precincts, burning down buildings, ripping down statues, assaulting people, destroying stores, and so on and so forth. I seem to recall the Democrats saying how, we cannot use the National Guard against our own people. Oh my God, how could we do something like that? How could we have the National Guard there? How could we have the military there? And it's funny because then they had the National Guard in D.C. for this guy, right? Then it was okay, and it was under the guise of, those Trump supporters that raided the Capitol, whatever, like they dramatized the whole thing. They said, these are domestic terrorists, right? But what was going on in the summer, that wasn't any sort of domestic terrorism. So it's typical, they talk out of both sides of their mouths. They're hypocrites, they're liars, So now this whole thing about unity, again, they're talking about unity. Biden was up there talking about we got to come together, this red versus blue, Democrats versus Republicans, so on and so forth. We got to come together. All right. Now, how are you going to come together and how are you going to have unity when you were demonizing anybody that voted for Trump, calling them racist, bigots, homophobic, xenophobic, so on and so forth, right? Calling them KKK, all this, right? How are you going to come together after that? And you continue to do it. And now, yesterday he was talking about, in his speech, he mentioned white supremacy, right? Okay. I've never met a white supremacist in my life, but I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm sure they do. So we can all agree that white supremacy is wrong, right? We can all agree on that. And I happen to believe that all forms of supremacy are wrong, whether you're a black supremacist or a Hispanic supremacist or a white supremacist. I happen to think all of that is wrong, right? We're all humans, right? Living in this country, this great nation, which I'm still proud to be an American. Unlike, the leftists, when the Republicans in office, they hate being an American, they hate the country. The country's terrible. The country's awful. It's the worst thing in the world. Democrat goes into office, then they're Americans again. I don't play that game. I'm still proud to be an American, and I believe in America. So, they're talking about white supremacy. So I'm going to explain to you the problem with them saying white supremacy, right? They've changed the definition, like liberals like to do. They changed the definition of everything. They've changed the definition of racism, right? So basically, for them, white supremacist is anything that anybody that believes in Western values, right? Anybody that doesn't go along with what they go along with, they just brand as a white supremacist. That's all. It's not in the traditional sense of what it really means. It just means anybody that is a Republican or whatever, conservative, doesn't go along with them, is a white supremacist. That's what they're really saying. That's the underlying message. They're not going to come out and say that, but obviously if you've been actually following this and paying close attention, that's what it actually means. So when they talk about unity and they say we need to come together, basically it's anybody that doesn't believe what we believe, shut your mouth and get in line. You're not allowed to have an opinion otherwise. So if you don't believe in what we believe in, shut your mouth, get in line. Otherwise, you're out of here. There's no unity. That whole unity thing is BS, complete BS, because you see it time and time again, when anybody else has an opinion other than their own, they get attacked. They get branded as racist and so on and so forth. So, the whole unity thing, it's funny how they only want unity when they're in power, right? When they're not in power, it's resist. When they're in power, they're talking about unity. So you can take that unity stuff and you can shove it up your ass, all up in your ass.